Of all the phones that I've reviewed over the past few years, the one that's gotten the most requests for an update, by far, is the Unihertz Tank. And I certainly understand why. There's a lot of curiosity about this device, a lot of interest about this device, because it goes beyond just being a phone with a huge battery that's rugged. We've had some of those on this channel, but there's always something that holds those devices back from being considered daily drivers. Either the display is particularly poor or the performance isn't very good. There's always something that doesn't quite meet the standard of a phone that you'd want to be using. The Tank has none of these issues. The performance is good. The display is excellent, especially in the price category. We'll talk about that a bit later on. So it really becomes just a calculus that you do of whether you can handle the weight, whether you want to carry this around every day, because it does come in at 1.25 pounds. You do notice it, 560 grams. Fellas, you have to get those suspenders out or tighten that belt an extra notch in order to keep your pants on your hip with this. But it is something that's worth considering. And a lot of people who didn't even need a rugged phone or weren't interested in a rugged phone before were commenting on that video saying, you know what, I'd consider a Tank because of that battery life, because of the build. I wouldn't have to put a case on it, but because for that $369, link will be in the description. You get it cheaper from the Unihertz site, by the way. I think Amazon, AliExpress, some of these other ones have it at $399, $369 still on the Unihertz site, so use that link in the description. But you get a lot, and people are starting to think, hey, maybe the Tank is something I could carry around. So how has it been doing? Pretty well. And, you know, I have to give Unihertz a lot of credit here because they don't do, it's not a security patch, all right? It's still running the November 2022 security patch. But they have these, and I'll show where it pops up later. They have these hot fixes, essentially what they do. They'll send out phone-specific fixes for this device. So they've improved charging, they've improved battery performance, they've improved a bunch of different things. I've received about 3 or 4 different updates since I've had this phone from November, and that's been quite nice. That's a big departure for Unihertz, a big change. Once you got a device, that was usually it. Maybe you got one update, you got one security patch somewhere down the line, 6 months to a year later. Now they're actively working on this phone. They're taking feedback, things that they notice, and that's nice to see from them because they're not a huge manufacturer. But if these smaller manufacturers can now start to do that and have that kind of support, it really gives you some credibility and makes you think about at least switching or considering a device like this over something a little bit more mainstream. One of the cool things that Unihertz has going too, it has not come to the Tank yet, but it should soon, is their repairs program that they have. You could buy parts yourself. They have tutorials online. Go in and repair your own phone, which I know a lot of people hate now with the manufacturers not being able to repair your own phone, having to send in for these expensive parts and expensive services. Now Unihertz allows you on most of these devices to go ahead and repair them yourselves. Battery life is the big one. Something that I want to add that I don't think I had in the previous reviews is that you can use this as a battery bank. This can charge other phones, which is something cool. You're out with friends, they're running out of juice, or you got to run something off of it. You go ahead, plug it in, your USB-C, plug it into their device, and bam, you're charging them, which is pretty cool. Battery life, of course, the main attraction, 22,000 milliamp hour battery, running superbly well. I think you can get well over 30 hours of content streaming. YouTube, Netflix, Twitch, whatever it happens to be, well over 30 hours. So I think in mixed use, you're probably going to be looking at about 30 days. With standby, easily making it to the 100 days. I have no problem with their claim that it's 100 days on a single charge when it comes to standby battery. Absolutely. If you leave this for a day, and then overnight, let's say you're on the construction site, you throw it in your truck, whatever it happens to be, you're on a camp, you go to bed, you don't use it for a day a lot, you will, if anything, depending on what portion of the percentage you've left off, you will maybe see a percentage drain overnight. Maybe. But for the entire day, usually just 1% drain. So you're looking at 100 days of standby, which is really, it just adds utility. It's like in football, what Bart Scott used to say, the best ability is availability. This phone, it will always be available to you when you carry it, because the battery life can last and last and last, and that is something that really is cool. There's a couple things that design-wise that I noticed about that we're going to talk about, plus one thing I really wish Unihertz would get away from or work on. We'll talk about all that right now. Just one of the design things that I picked up on the Tank. Of course, this is designed to be a rugged device, so if you're using it outside, extreme temperatures, you have gloves on, construction site, you have the buttons, the volume up and down. I love the space that they've put between them, and also the size of them and the width of them, so you can make sure that you're hitting the proper button for volume up and down. I just love the attention to detail on this device, making it useful for someone who does work outdoors. So in addition to the speed of the device, the ease of use of it, I just love the way it functions. I love the fact that it does have stock Android, and I love the fact that it doesn't have a lot of bloatware. You know, I'm reviewing a Lenovo tablet for Android Police, and I gotta tell you, it has stock Android, so-called, but it has a ton of stuff that they added in bloatware. And it has this functionality, or I guess this whatever notification center, where it'll actually remind you of the bloatware on there and encourage you to play some of the games or whatever else. It's maddening. I love that Unihertz does not do that. They do not include that stuff. They have some stuff in their toolbox, but it actually has utility. It's not just bloatware for the sake of bloatware, and it's not devices that were, or apps rather, that were clearly just paid to be on the device and don't add at all to the functionality of the device. So I love the fact that it was updated with Android 12 and that it released with Android 12 rather, and that they have a distribution of Android 12 that they use on phones. However, because it is stock, relatively stock, they are going with the base Pixel experience with Material U. And to me, just making sure there's no, to me, I hate it. I can't stand Material U. I just can't. This is just a mess. I don't know where I'm looking here. I don't know where I'm looking. You got to scroll up, hit this. A lot of times I won't. I'll scroll up too far. It's just a mess of buttons and notifications and undefined lines. It's just a mess. I hate Material U. I dislike the fact that a lot of manufacturers who don't have the ability to have their own in-house distributions of Android are stuck using it. I wish Google would go away with it. I understand that's not Unihertz's fault, and it's still running well, but I would love other people to come out with skins that these smaller manufacturers could use that are not the Material U skin, because it's just plain bad. I don't like it whatsoever. So that's something that's holds me back a little bit with the Tank, but it's not their fault. It's just what it has on it. But overall, you're going to do everything you want to do on here. Gaming is another one. Gaming is a fantastic experience on the Tank for a device that's $369 because of the MediaTek, because of the Helio G99, which is a very capable chipset. And it does a great job with it. So you get the battery life that you'd want. You get a fantastic 1080p display with rich contrast, good color, fantastic. It gets bright enough to be used outdoors, no issues with visibility. And you could pair that with gaming, and you got yourself a little portable gaming machine here. You can sit there for hours and hours and hours gaming on your favorite games, getting decent performance, decent frames on a budget device, and you can not have to worry about plugging in or keeping plugged in. You game at home or whatever it is. The only thing you got to worry about is the extra weight that you got. You might want to put it on a stand or something, but as long as you're good with that, you're going to get a lot of use out of the Tank. So I see why people are making that decision, or at least having that conversation on whether to get something like a Tank if they're looking in this price range as a daily driver, because I think the only thing holding it back from similarly priced devices is the weight. Once you get past that, if you carry it in a bag, if that doesn't concern you, if you're already, carrying bricks around in your pockets for fun or something, this is something that you'll absolutely be able to use, and you get a decent performance experience in the price range, but you get the other added benefits of the massive battery and the rugged nature of the device. You'll never have to worry about a case on this device. You have the added security features of that huge camping lamp, 1200 lumen, by the way. I think I'd previously reported 1000. It is actually 1200. Night vision camera, lots to like from the Unihertz Tank. So let me know your thoughts below. If you have any questions on it, if you ordered it and you're loving it or whatever else, go ahead and let me know that below as well. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-licious day.